There is a whole world of white wine that goes beyond the usual suspects. And today I have for you one of the best places to start exploring. Hi there, I am Jacqueline for Vero, where we go around the world searching out wild and scarce unique wines and specialty foods to bring to the US for wine lovers, foodies, businesses, and distributors across the country to discover and enjoy along with us. And today we are looking at some undiscovered white wines, those of the Czech Republic. So whether you are chasing a new grape variety that you've never tried before, or you're simply looking for a fresh winemaking region to explore, there are always great alternatives of white wines that are always worth discovering and exploring. And that's why we love the Czech Republic, especially the Moravia region, and it should be next on your wine exploration list. From this region, we can find so many unique and stunning wines. But today, we are going to focus on white wines specifically. These are white wines with incredible natural acidity that is paired with a ripe fruit and a roundness that climate change has thankfully brought to the region. It has allowed winemakers to create wines that feel balanced and exciting to drink with a cooler climate. It's an up-and-coming wine region that is so well positioned for making really compelling white wines. So to understand a little bit of the context about where these wines and the wine scene of the Czech Republic comes from, first, we do need to go a little bit back into history. The Czech Republic is a landlocked nation in Central Europe that is surrounded by some of the continent's greatest cultures, and wines too. We have Germany to the west, Austria and Slovakia to the south, and cultures like Poland to the north. That geography, plus centuries of history, has shaped the wine traditions of the Czech Republic. Romans first brought viticulture to the area, and later the region endured various conquests and empires taking over, transferring it between these different empires and the different cultures that they brought with them. From Austrian, German, and even French conquests, all of these created influences that helped to introduce grapes and winemaking styles to the Czech Republic and to Moravia, that has turned it into a thriving wine scene and wine region. Now, this history of the Czech Republic and its roots of this wine industry, and we've talked a lot more about in a couple of articles on our blog on verovino.com. If you haven't read that article, well, it might mean that you aren't subscribed to the Vero newsletter. You see, Vero newsletter subscribers are the first to know when we publish new articles about wine, about our producers, and so much more. So if you like content like this from Vero, you should be signed up to the Vero newsletter at the link in the description below to make sure that you are part of the Vero community and get the notifications when we release articles and videos. Because that, paired with a sub here on YouTube, will mean that you never miss any more announcements about content, news, and of course, new product drops. But now let's get back to the white wines of the Czech Republic. So now that we have a sense of the history of where Czech wines come from and the culture of the Czech Republic, let's talk a little bit about why the white wines in particular from the region are so special. Now, Moravia is in the southern part of the Czech Republic, and it sits at a location that naturally produces grapes with a bright and lively acidity. It's the kind of acidity that gives white wine its freshness. For a long time, that cool climate has meant that the wines were lean and crisp, which of course is wonderful in its own right. But a lot of time, the cooler weather meant grapes were too acidic or struggled to ripen. So winemakers would traditionally leave a touch of residual sugar in the wines to help balance that out a little bit. But here is where it actually gets really exciting. Climate change has gradually warmed the region, and what that means for winemakers and for the white wines is that we're going to see more ripeness, more fruit, and a little bit more roundness in the wines. But that's all without losing the natural acidity that made those wines great to begin with. The result is a style of white wine that feels naturally balanced without the winemaker actually having to work too hard in order to achieve this balance. It kind of happens on its own. This region is also shaped by its microclimates, the hills, the valleys, and the rivers of Moravia that create pockets of unique growing conditions that will allow different grape varieties to thrive in different corners of the same region. And then, of course, we do have those grape varieties themselves that add to the variety on top of all of this. Because of that crossroads effect from history, we're going to see a lot of different cultures that passed through, and the Czech Republic is going to be growing a stunning range of white grapes from that. We're going to see Grüner Veltliner, that is inherited from an Austrian influence, Riesling from a German influence, and others like Chardonnay, Pinot Blanc, Pinot Gris, Sauvignon Blanc from France, and even some indigenous varieties like the Moravian Muscat that are unique crosses to find in the area. What's also exciting about the white wines of the Czech Republic is how these styles have shifted over the years as well. As the climate warmed, winemakers now have that extra ripeness that we talked about earlier to go fully dry with their wines if they want to. This can produce crisp, clean whites with no residual sugar. But check out the off-dry tradition that hasn't disappeared either, because honestly, some of those gently sweet styles have enough acidity you barely notice the residual sugars, and they are gorgeous in their own right. So when we combine microclimates, grapes, and styles, there is so much for us to explore in the world of the white wines of the Czech Republic. So whether you love something bone dry and mineral driven, or aromatic, floral, and slightly sweet, or maybe rich and textured with some oak, all of these different grapes, these styles, there is really a Czech wine that is made for you somewhere out there. Now, the best part of discovering a new wine region and wine category like the white wines of the Czech Republic is getting to actually taste them. And that is where we here at Vero come in. We have done the searching, the tasting, and the curating so you don't have to. You can find a great selection of artisan wines from the Czech Republic, but really so many other countries too, that are all available for purchase on verovino.com in the Vero shop that I will have linked below. These are wines and really some olive oils and specialty foods that we have personally curated and we personally love. And all of them can be shipped across the country. So if you are a business, you can also write us for wholesale pricing as well. So thank you for joining me today. Let us know in the comments below, what is your favorite white wine, white grape, or white wine style that comes from the Czech Republic? If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and make sure to subscribe to the Vero newsletter and here on YouTube for more content like this. I'm going to leave you with this video here that talks a little bit more about the Czech Republic and its wine culture. I'll see you over there. Bye.